All right, I'm sure we're going to be getting a few more students coming in, but while we do that, I'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to our Leavey School of Business student panel. First of all, my name is Kayla Garcia and I'm one of the Associate Directors of Undergraduate Admission. I got to read some of your applications, so we really want to say congratulations on being admitted and congratulations on choosing to be part of the Bronco family. We're really excited to have you start in the fall. So I know we're going to be answering a lot of your questions. I'm sure all of you are curious to know whether we're going to be hosting classes in person in the fall or if we're going online. To be honest, we don't know yet. We would hope to have you all coming in the fall, but that is something that administration is still determining so that we're following all the guidelines from our representatives and our government. So stay tuned on updates from that. And again, really congratulations to all of you. We're super excited that you're joining the Bronco family. So let me add a little reaction here. Woo! And to celebrate with you all today, we have our Leavey ambassadors here with us. And I will turn it over to them so that they can introduce themselves. This is really, again, your time to ask any questions that you have, whether if it's academic related or student life related. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. You will be able to ask them in the chat box. As you all know, you're all muted. So at any point that you have any questions, just type it in and we will do our best to get to as many questions as possible. So let me turn it over to our Leavey ambassadors.
Hi guys, yeah, so as she mentioned, the people you saw wave were the Leavey ambassadors, and we're all in the business school, and our purpose is essentially to serve prospective students and their families, as well as committed students like yourselves. Joanne is our advisor, she's on the call. She's incredible, so it's worth mentioning her. And so now we're just going to each introduce ourselves. My name is Anne Marie. I'm a junior finance major and international business minor. I'm from Bellevue, Washington, which is just outside of Seattle. And then we each wanted to say something that we're grateful for in quarantine, so something good that has come out of needing to leave campus. And for me, it's getting to spend extra time with my sister, who normally goes to school in New York on the other side of the country, and also with my dog, because he's adorable. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick.
All right, hey guys, first of all, congrats. As she said, my name's Nick, but I'm from Phoenix. I'm a junior finance major as well and an economics minor. One positive thing that's come out of quarantine for me is I've gotten to restart doing yoga. I did yoga a lot my senior year of high school and haven't really done it at all since. And so it's been cool to be able to get back into that during quarantine.
Hi guys, I'm Anna. I am a finance and psychology double major with a minor in business analytics. And I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, which is right by Dallas, so North Texas. And something that's great that's come out of quarantine is definitely time spent with my dog and my mom. We've been taking lots of walks, and so it's nice to get outdoors, I will say. And now I'm gonna pass it on to Kayla.
Hi guys, I'm Kayla. I'm a senior majoring in Management Information Systems as well as Japanese Business Studies through the Independent Studies Department. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii, and one thing that has come out great that has come out of quarantine would be that I've been able to pick up some books that I've been putting off during the quarter.
Awesome, thanks guys. So again, as was mentioned, if you guys have questions, please send them in the chat box. This will really be the most beneficial to everyone if we can ask questions that you actually care about. And as you know, odds are if you have a question, other people do as well. So go ahead and send them in at any time. We're gonna get rolling and we're gonna have Nick and Kayla talk about what their favorite part of Santa Clara is. Just to get started, that's one of the most common questions that we get, so we figured we'd address it off the bat. Go ahead, Nick.
All right, so to start, I think my favorite part about Santa Clara is just the people and the community in general, not just the students, but also the staff. I feel like everyone at Santa Clara is very personable. You get along with everyone, and it's been just like the people have been the greatest part of the experience for me and the part that has made it the most worthwhile.
Yeah, to go off of Nick's point, I think just the campus and the location is the best part of going to Santa Clara. I mean, the campus is so small that it allows for interaction between teachers and students so easily, and you can really get the most out of your education. As well as just walking to class, you see familiar faces everywhere. So I think the campus size is the best part.
Nice. Okay, and then we have a question from Dominic. What has been your favorite class you've taken so far at Santa Clara and why? Anna, do you want to take that one away?
Yes. My favorite class so far is actually one I'm in this quarter right now. It's called Business Communication. So it is a class that is taking me on an interesting journey, but I'm loving it because the class focuses on your own networking and your own communication skills. And so it's very applicable to outside jobs. So one of our assignments, guys, is making a 5x5 spreadsheet where it's 5 companies with 5 different employees at those companies that you would love to cold call. So you're emailing them and you're just having no connections. You're just putting yourself out there and you're making these connections and you're reaching out to be able to have informational interviews with them. So to be able to talk to them. And so for me, it's been my favorite class because it's a class that it's really applicable. As a junior, I'm going into a senior year where I'm hoping to come out of it with a job. And this class is helping me develop skills that will hopefully get me a job, even though we're in a crazy time right now. But next year we'll definitely be in a different time. So I'm excited about that. But I feel as though it's my favorite because it's very obvious the skills I'm learning are going to be applicable.
Yeah, and I'm actually in that class with Anna, and when I saw this question, that was the first class I thought of as well. Our professor really pushes us, and as she talked about with the networking, it works. And so last week I was able to talk with the CFO of the Sounders, which is the MLS team in Seattle, and I've been going to every single home game since their second season with my dad, and so I'm a huge fan, and to be able to talk with him and have it just happen because I emailed him was really rewarding and not something I would have done if I didn't take this class. But another one of my favorite classes that I've taken was actually a philosophy class. And I took it because it's part of your core requirement. Your first year, you're going to take 2 cultures and ideas classes. So I selected this. You'll either be placed into one or you'll select one. There's no control. It's random. I picked this one, so it was the philosophy of beauty and value, and I really loved it because it was a chance for me to step away from the business school a little bit, and that's one advantage to Santa Clara is you're not just taking business classes, and you learned about how different cultures view beauty and view value, and it was really rewarding. And I took that my first year, and I'm a junior now, and it's still one of my favorites. Okay, so it looks like we have another question from Henry. Thank you for sending it in, Dominic and Henry. Is there a level of competition for the top internships in the area, or is it more relaxed? Also, what year do you recommend incoming students being pursuing internships? Is there anyone who wants to
take that one.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to take your questions in opposite order because I think the first one's easier to answer. I had an internship my freshman year, but I felt like that's pretty uncommon. I don't think many people end up doing that, and I don't think it's necessary at all. I think you can kind of choose when to take your internships. People won't even take them sophomore, summer, and they're totally fine. Like you can just have an internship your junior year or your senior year and turn that into a job easily. In terms of the level of competition, I wouldn't say you're definitely competing against other people in general for internships, but it never feels like me against someone else in the business school for X internship, or at least I've never felt like that way. I don't know if any of the other ambassadors have felt like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like I've gone toe to toe with another Santa Clara student to get one position. I think in terms of internships, if you're going to talk about internships and their relevance to Santa Clara, we have the benefit of being in the Silicon Valley. And Santa Clara's built a really great relationship with a lot of businesses in the area. So they heavily recruit from Santa Clara, including Apple, which is just down the way. And they love Santa Clara students. So I would say there's competition, but it's not coming necessarily from your peers. And there's also a lot of resources at Santa Clara to help you get that internship.
Yeah, to go off of what Anna Maria is saying as well, the business school offers numerous opportunities to network with a bunch of the companies in the Bay Area. I know on Wednesdays they have an event called Coffee Talk, where they bring in a company in the Bay Area just to chat and have coffee with some students in the during the lunchtime. So if you're ever free and you don't have class during lunchtime on Wednesday, you can always just go to a networking event. And there's a lot more of those throughout the weeks on campus as well.
Mm-hmm. And then the next question we have, which I'm going to send this straight to Anna, how difficult is it to pick up a double major or minor? And you are the one here at the double major.
Yes. So I'm finance and psychology. So 2 different schools. So I'm half the time in business school, half the time in arts and sciences. And in all honesty, it's pretty manageable. If you decide it by at least your sophomore year or even middle of sophomore year, you will be perfectly fine. I decided it a little bit later. It was the end of my sophomore year. So that's when I declared my psychology major. But even then I've had time. It definitely is, you'll have to take a little bit more classes every quarter. But if you're interested in the 2 subjects, definitely go for it. It's definitely something that's enriched my experience at Santa Clara, being in 2 different schools, because I feel as though with finance, I'm always calculating numbers, but then psychology allows me to look at the human mind and really study it. And then also it's applying to my finance career, because behavioral finance is an up and coming field, understanding how people spend their money. And so I definitely would say double majoring or even adding on a minor, being a double major with the minor is definitely doable with your schedule if you want to do it. That's one of the best things about Santa Clara. It's all about becoming a well-rounded student. So they definitely allow you to be able to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And then from Alexa, if you could give your freshman self advice, what would it be? And this is actually something that we talked about the other day about what we would give, what our one piece of advice would be. And for me, mine would be to say yes to everything, no matter how weird it sounds or how tired you may be. So if someone down the hall in your residence hall asks if you want to go get dinner and you already ate or you're just really tired, say yes, especially that first month, and just sit with them, because you never know what's going to come of it. And a lot of our advice comes from stuff that we regret not doing. And this is something I regret not doing my first month, is saying yes to more things. So that's my piece of advice. Nick, do you want to give yours?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I would definitely say, because everyone in this, Joanne, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone in this is a business school student, right? Yeah. Yes. All right. Sweet. I didn't see the thumbs up at first. I would definitely say take your time picking your major. Like, there's no pressure in the business school to pick your major right out the gate. I would recommend taking Business 70, which is the intro business class that you guys will all take in the fall. And that gives you exposure to every single major in the business school. And I think I saw somebody in the chat saying something about if there's a selective process for some majors. There's not. You can switch between any of the majors you'd like at any time. So I definitely take your time and figure out what you want to do before like jumping into something head first without any knowledge of it.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Anna, your piece of advice.
My piece of advice would be get out of your comfort zone. I feel as though my freshman year, I was really scared to like go out and meet people, as like Anne-Marie was saying, but some of my best experiences at Santa Clara have been applying for some position or something that I thought was way out of the blue, or going and knocking on the person's door across the hall. And those different things that might feel a little bit like a little far, you might feel like you might be a burden or might seem impossible, are the most amazing experiences and things that have come out of them. Like, I remember my freshman year, at the end of it, I was applying for a position on Activities Programming Board, and which is an organization on campus where we plan all the events on and off campus. So we planned like a fall concert and lots of fun little things like that. And so I remember applying and thinking, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Maybe I shouldn't apply. But I remember pushing myself out of that comfort zone and doing that. And I got the position, and I ended up meeting some of my best, like my closest friends at Santa Clara, and having some of the most amazing experiences from working on that team and seeing how a student organization works and how a student staff can come together to create amazing things. So definitely get yourself out of that bubble and push yourself. It will definitely lead to the best experiences.
Awesome. Thank you. And Kayla?
Yeah, my advice would just be to go to the club fair in the beginning of the quarters. Santa Clara has so much different clubs and organizations to get involved with. Like, my roommate, my first year, told me to come off for the Ultimate Frisbee team. And I never heard of Ultimate Frisbee before going to college. nor have even touched a Frisbee before. But when I went out, it was just such an amazing experience. And I definitely like agree with Anna, like just get out of your comfort zone and try something new. And like you'll join clubs that you may not even think like you would have before.
Awesome. And then the next question we have is, what has been the hardest thing about transitioning to online classes? Someone want to take that one?
I can go.
Okay, I can add on to whatever you have to say. I just don't want to do it all.
No, I think one of the hardest things is definitely some classes are a little easier taught in the classroom. I know for me, I am in a introduction to programming class. And so that class, one of the best things is you type out the program on your computer while the professor has it up on the screen. And so that's been kind of a difficulty, but my professor has been amazing to combat that. The way he's doing it is he's typing out the code and then he's emailing it to us after class so that we can recopy it ourselves. And then he's also recording the class. And so you're able to rewatch it and then have that video recording up next to your computer as you're like typing, so have like two different windows open. And so I think that's definitely been a transition, like a hard transition because of that class. But our professors are being amazing. We're all working with it, taking it one step at a time and doing the best we can with a crazy situation.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the reason I kind of hesitated at this question was because it's been such a smooth transition for us. I think part of that was because we have started a fresh new quarter, and the school allowed our professors extra time before the quarter started to understand online Zoom University and how to teach us online. So it was a very smooth transition, and I don't have complaints about it. And I think part of Santa Clara's culture ties into that too. So we have really small classes to start with, and a lot of our classes are still small, and we miss being with each other in the classroom. And so videos are on for almost all of my classes. And so it feels like you still have that camaraderie. The professors have been super flexible and super understanding with technical difficulties or family situations that come up, especially as people needed to move home at the end of last quarter. So I think the transition, while there are some classes, as Anna mentioned, that are just in general hard for any university or professor to teach online, Santa Clara's been very considerate throughout the whole process. And for that reason, I don't have any complaints about being virtual right now. And then Natalie, this was for me, you said you're an international business minor. Why did you choose this, and what has it added to your major? So I actually didn't choose this minor until this year. I was originally an economics minor like Nick, and then I realized I don't really like economics. And then I studied abroad in Spain last fall. I was in Barcelona and I loved it. I loved Spanish. I loved learning it. So I came back with the plan to minor in Spanish, but I was pretty far behind because I took French in high school. So I was on track to do that in the winter, and I was just too stressed all the time with my classes and my job and my friends. I couldn't handle it without keeping my mental health and physical health in check. So I had to drop a class, and that was the only option for me to keep all my business classes. So I dropped Spanish, which meant I wouldn't be minoring in it. And that's how I came to international business, because it allows me to keep that component of a foreign language. I can still keep practicing Spanish on my own because I fulfilled that requirement. And for me, I'm in a class right now called International Management for my class. And it's really interesting to see how business differs between the US and other countries in Latin America or in Asia or in Europe. And the differences are staggering. And to have that knowledge going into the workforce is really valuable. The company I'm hoping to work for after graduation, you join a 2-year rotational program, and one of your rotations is in a foreign country. And so to be able to have that background, I think will be a huge asset if I do end up working for them and joining that program. So I hope that answers your question. If not, feel free to find me later and we can talk more about international business. And then Jackson, you asked about the selective process, but Nick touched on this, so I'm just going to skip over that really quickly. It's not, you don't apply to a major within the business school. You take business 70 fall quarter, and then you can choose your major. You have until the end of your sophomore year to declare, except if you're going to go abroad, you have to declare before you submit your application, and you submit your application in, typically it's November or December of your sophomore year. To go, if you're going to go abroad, fall of your junior year, which is the most common. And then Dominic, you asked, what are some tips you can give on transitioning from a semester-based grade system to a quarter system? Nick, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can take this one. My biggest tip would be stay on top of your work in the semester system. Like I assume most of your guys' high schools are. You have a lot more time to just kind of like not coast, but figure things out. In the quarter, everything's whipping by really quick. So if you're skipping class, you're going to fall behind very quickly. And just stay on top of your work. And as long as you do that, you'll be okay. And one of the biggest advantages of the quarter system is if there's a class you don't really like, you're going to be out of it quickly. But that's also a disadvantage because if there's a class you do really like, you're going to be out of it quickly. So just stay in contact with those professors that you really like and like build those relations over time and try to take classes with people over multiple quarters if you can.
Awesome. Okay. And then the next one was, how accessible are your professors? Kayla, do you want to, Kayla, you want to take that one?
Yeah. Honestly, the class sizes at Santa Clara range from, or in the business school specifically, range from like 15 all the way to like 40, which is the maximum. So your professors are very accessible. And every week they'll hold office hours. So if you need extra help in a class or you just want to chit chat with them, they're free to talk then. But I've never had a problem reaching any of my professors really. So most likely they like when students reach out to them. So I think they're very accessible.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they really love when you go to office hours, and as we're virtual, they're still hosting office hours on a weekly basis. So whether anyone goes or not, you can click the Zoom link and they will be there. And there's obviously a varying degree, but I have a professor who's not even my professor yet. I'm just hoping to take his class next quarter. And I went to an informational session on the course because you have to apply to take it. And he gave everyone his cell phone number if you wanted to text him. And that was new. That's the first time I've had a professor give me his cell, but they definitely are more connected to students than I think bigger universities are. And it's because of our class size, as Kayla mentioned. Henry has a question for Nick, who believes that, I'm going to say this wrong, but you're a Brophy grad? Yeah? Okay.
I am. Yeah.
You understood that. I did not. He's wondering what the transition is like to a new state and totally new surroundings. Do you have any advice?
Okay. Yeah. So I am a Brophy grad. That was my high school, Amory. And there's a lot of us at Santa Clara. Yeah. The transition to a new state, honestly, it was not that bad. Like most of the people you're going to meet are new. I don't know exactly what the population is from California, but everyone's coming into new situations. So don't feel like you're the only one. My biggest tip would be like Santa Clara's in a great area. The beach is 40 minutes away. You can go hiking like probably 10 minutes away. San Francisco is only an hour train wide. Like just get into all that, like do things that you can't do at home. Specifically from Phoenix, we don't have the beach. There's not a ton of mountains to climb. It's just hot all the time. So there's a lot of places you can go that you can't really get in Phoenix. And my biggest tip to kind of get over that fear is just get involved. Just like getting involved in school, just go out, explore new places.
Thank you.
Really quickly to go on to Nick's comment about percentage-wise of students. It's about 60% of our student body that's from California, 40% from out of state. So really, you're going to have classes with students from all over the world, not just from California. We also have a growing international student population. Represents roughly 7% of our incoming class.
Thank you. And then Elizabeth, not Elizabeth. Daisha had a question of the average class size in an introductory course, but I believe Kayla touched on this one. I've never had a class with more than, I would say, 35 students in it, and that's a pretty full class. So it varies. And then Santa Clara, from my experience, is pretty understanding about adding a class if they realize that the number of sections that they've decided for the quarter fill up really fast and there's a bunch of people on the wait list and it's an important class that people need to take. They'll do what they can to add another section to keep class sizes down and make sure everyone stays on track. And then there is a cap, there's a limit on the number of students that can be in a class, so you can't just keep enrolling as many students. And then Elizabeth had the question, what is your favorite SCU tradition? Does anyone want? I know what mine is, but
I know what mine is. Mine is, so every year we have the Gonzaga basketball game, and it is the most exciting game of the year, guys. Everyone crowds the stands, all the students, and people go crazy. Everyone gets so into it. There's always a ton of events surrounding it. It's kind of our biggest game of the year, and you see everyone's school spirit comes out at that moment. And so it's a great time to come together and to embrace our school. So I think that's a great fun tradition that happens every year.
yeah. And then on the other end of the spectrum, during a time that isn't so fun, one of my favorite traditions is actually during finals week of every quarter. If you go put yourself in the library to study, they will come around with snack bags and snack carts, and they're actually high quality snacks. So that is probably my favorite part because it's an incentive to study. You know, you're almost done with the quarter. You're either going to go home for winter break or spring break or summer. So that's strangely my favorite tradition. And then before I keep going with questions, I wanted to introduce Sean, who's joined us. He's another ambassador, but was having some technical issues. As we all know, that's how life is right now. So Sean, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm Sean Marks. I'm a sophomore, and I'm studying accounting and information systems in the business school. I'm originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's where I'm at right now. And I think we all talked this maybe earlier, but I don't know if you guys said one good thing about quarantine. Did you guys talk about that or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say one good thing about quarantine so far is probably just being able to spend time with family. If it actually weren't for this, I'd probably still be at school, and then as an internship over the summer, I wouldn't have been able to see them for an extended period of time. So I'm glad I get to spend time with them right now.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Sean.
Apologize.
And then Anna, I'm going to send this one to you. It's about double majors again from Jackson. Is it difficult to receive permission to pursue a double major?
No, it's not very difficult. So there is a form that you have to fill out to add on a major or even to declare a major. And so you will go to your, if you're adding on a second major, then you need to have the form filled out by your advisor of your previous major, and then you need to have the head of the department fill out. So for me, I needed my finance advisor to sign the form. And then I went to the psychology head of the department and had her sign it. And so that's all it takes. And then you turn it into the registrar.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Natalie is wondering what job opportunities we've had access to as students in the business school. My biggest opportunity has come this summer. I'm going to be a finance intern at Apple. I'm super stoked to do that, and I'm so grateful to still have it. I'll be remote. I found out today I'll be in Bellevue. But that was a huge asset I had through the business school, and it was because of a connection that I found actually on LinkedIn to a Santa Clara grad. And I essentially saw that she was doing what I wanted to do. And as Anna said, like we do in our business comm class, or as we're learning to do, I just cold DM'd her on LinkedIn, and the rest is history. So that's my biggest opportunity. And there's a lot of Santa Clara students that work for Apple. And that's one of the things I was talking about earlier. There's about 30 finance interns, and they come from the US and London. And I would say a handful, probably at least four will be Santa Clara students. So that's a huge chunk when you're thinking about how many people they're drawing from. And it's because of the time that Santa Clara has taken to build relationships with those big companies around. So that's my 2 cents on job opportunities. Does anyone else have something they want to add?
I thing I want to talk about, one great resource, especially for job opportunities, is the professors themselves. They've had a lot of industry experience, and there's one professor that I was talking to recently that's he's an adjunct lecturer for accounting classes, and he's also an accounting operations controller at VMware. And so I got in contact with him, and one thing or another, he helped me end up landing my internship for the summer with VMware. So I'm going to be an accounting intern there. So definitely really good opportunity, especially through like professors. Definitely talk to professors a lot. They're very knowledgeable people, and they're a great resource, great place for some help.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sorry, Henry.
No, go ahead, Nick.
One thing I want to touch on is just like job opportunities while you're at school. It's super easy to get a job while you're on campus through the Career Center. Like they'll help you set something up very easily. And that can be like, there's the Duke's desk at the business school that a lot of my friends work at, but there's a lot of other desks around campus that people work at, or at the gym, or at an office on campus. Or there's like, if you're in the arts and science class, school, which I know none of you guys are, but if you have like a biology major, you can help do research assistance in the labs or something like that. And all those are super obtainable for any student.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah. Anna, you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to add about on-campus jobs. So you can even do it with a double major and a minor. So I work on campus like with 2 different jobs at the same time. On activities programming board, I get paid to help plan events because I run their finances. And then also I'm a teaching assistant in the business school. So I get paid for grading people's exams. So it's definitely doable having a job and juggling classwork.
Yeah, Anna's also Superwoman, but it is possible to do all of that. And then the next question we have is, what can we prepare for the academic study for the business school in advance of summer vacation? I don't even know if there's really much to prepare. I know I shouldn't say that maybe, but I didn't prepare for any. I had fun. I had a good summer after senior year of high school. I would say graduate, however you guys are graduating this year, and enjoy your summer and get excited. I don't worry about doing extra math problems or reading up on anything. Santa Clara was a really smooth transition for me, and I didn't feel behind when I got there. I don't know if anyone else had a different take.
I'll add a little bit to that. Yes, like Anne-Marie said, you do not have to necessarily prepare anything to start on the right foot in terms of your classes. What I would just suggest is that you make sure that you've done everything that you need to do in terms of your checklist as a deposited student, that you've enrolled in orientation, that you've gone through like the housing process. So just check those items off your checklist, but other than that, enjoy your summer. Look for those connections, really explore what SCU has to offer in terms of making connections with your students. This is one of those experiences, so get to know peers that might be, a possible good roommate or somebody who's going to be a good colleague to reach out to. But yeah, have fun with your summer for sure.
Awesome, thank you. And then the next question we have is, does attending an earlier orientation offer students a better chance of getting into the classes they want? Someone want to take that one?
Yeah, I can take this one. I'm almost 95. I'm 95% sure that there are like the classes they show each orientation session. There's classes held for each orientation session. Sorry, that was a better way of putting it. So each orientation class.
Sure of that.
All right, yeah. Each orientation class has classes held for them, so it doesn't matter which one you show up to.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really roundabout, but
it gets the message across. So essentially, no, attending an earlier session does not give you a better chance of going to class. Go to the orientation session that works for you. Admissions has set aside a certain number of spots in each class for you to be able to enroll. So that's the end of the chat questions. So if you guys have any more, feel free to send them in. In the meantime, Anna, do you want to talk about move-in day?
Yes, I can. So move-in day, it is a very exciting, fun day for everyone. So one of the best things is, guys, you don't have to move in yourself. There are students that already live on campus that are helping you move in. So that's like one of the best things about it. I remember driving up to school and hopping out of the car and standing right there was this other student with a cart, like a laundry basket cart, and he helped take everything out of the car and move it all up to my dorm. And little did I know that him and the other girl that was helping would become 2 of my closest friends at Santa Clara. So move-in day is an exciting day because not only you don't have to move in, but you start meeting students that are older than you right off the bat. And a lot of times they're people that live in your building. And so then you get connected with someone that's older and that lives in the same building as you, so you can keep building that bond and that ask them questions if you need to. I remember going to them all the time, being like, how do you sign up for classes? What do you do this? And it was just question after question after question. But they still are some of my closest friends. And so that's some of my favorite things about move-in.
Thank you. Anyone else want to add on about move-in day? Anna did a pretty good job of covering it. Essentially, it's fun and it's easy, and Santa Clara shuts down the streets for you guys to have a nice, easy pull up to the curb, have someone else do all the work for you, and you take the elevator up. It's very nice. Natalie is wondering what the calculus readiness exam is that incoming students must take, and can an AP calculus test score be used instead? Someone want to take that? Joanne, do you want to take it? So you unmute.
I can take it, sure. Hi, everybody. Welcome and congratulations. We're so excited to have you join us in the fall. I'm Joanne Shibles. For those of you who I've not met or been engaged with before, I work in the undergraduate business programs office, which is the office in the business school that will know you, help you, support you, ask any questions that you have, and help troubleshoot any issues that you are considering or been involved with. So calculus, so several things. Yes, we will talk about calculus over the summer at orientation, and in our information online, for those of you who've taken AP Calculus, which you don't have to have done, but if you pass AP Calculus at what are the required levels for Santa Clara, and there are little different numbers for the AB test and the BC test, it will take care of some of your calculus requirements when you get here. For those of us who will start math and do math with us, we're very happy about that as well, and you'll do the calculus readiness exam, which should be part of the checklist that Paula was talking about for you to do, which will open up, and what we want you to do is just take the exam, and it will place you in the appropriate calculus sequence that you should start with at the university. And I'm gonna turn it over to a couple of the ambassadors just a minute to talk about their calculus and where they started, because everyone starts differently, and that's important because you want to be successful in your calculus requirements, especially in the business school, because it leads off into other requirements. Kayla, math. Calculus for you. Why don't you talk about, did you do math 11 and 12 or 30 and 31?
So because I came in as a transfer student in my first year, I met my math requirements at the previous school I transferred from. So I personally didn't take either of those math classes or any math classes here.
She's the lucky one. Sean, what about you?
I tested out of math due to calculus BC.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I took math. I took math at Santa Clara. As Joanne mentioned, there's math 11 and math 12 and 30 and 31. 30 is equivalent with 11, 31 is equivalent with 12. You just take one of those two sets. The difference is that 30-31 is business-oriented calculus. 11-12 is more of what the engineers take. I took math 12. I skipped 11 because I had credit for it, so I took 12 winter quarter of my first year. And I chose to take 12 because I talked to students ahead of me that had gone to my high school and went to Santa Clara, and they were saying that the math 12 would be more in line with the math that I did in high school, and so it would be an easier transition to go from that AP test, not take calculus all summer or all fall, and jump back into it in the winter. And so that was the best decision for me, just because I was going from AP calculus. I went almost 6 months without doing a calculus problem. And so to have that smooth transition is why I chose to do math 12. I don't know if Anna or Nick, did either of you guys do 30 or 31?
Yeah, so go ahead, Anna.
Go, Nick, go, you got it.
No, it's you.
Okay. I in high school did BC and AB, and I placed out, but I actually ended up taking 30 and 31. I had people that were years ahead of me that recommended it because, as Anne Marie was saying, they were talking about how the math in high school related more to Math 11, but they said that it would be very beneficial to know more of a business sense of math. And so I ended up taking 30 and 31, and which I really appreciate that I did, because it takes calculus that I had already known and places it in a business context. And so I've seen that been very helpful throughout my time at Santa Clara, and especially in later classes where we're talking about different derivatives in like my finance classes. And so you already kind of have that perspective of looking at calculus from a math perspective. And so I've seen it as very beneficial taking 30 and 31.
Thanks. Nick, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, so proof of Joanne's comment that we all had different paths. I took stats in high school as a senior, so I didn't test out of anything, and I actually ended up taking Math 9, which is the pre-calculus requirement if you don't test out. So I did Math 9 my fall. It followed my freshman year, and then I went 30-31. And similar experience to Anna, found it really useful. I'm an economics minor, and we use calculus decently in that, and all those have been really applicable in those two. And so I knocked it all in my freshman year, but I actually started one class back from everyone else.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, as you've seen, everyone finishes math in a different way, but no matter which way you go, do everything you can to have it done your first year. You really don't want to be taking math your sophomore, junior, and God forbid your senior year. That's just the general recommendation. Get it done your freshman year, get it over with, and move on to the classes that are more specific to what you want to be studying. Okay, again, there's no more questions in the chat that we haven't addressed. I don't think I missed any, so feel free to keep sending them in. We have about 15 more minutes. But in the meantime, I have some questions for the other ambassadors. And
Anne-Marie, while you look through the questions really quickly, while you sort through the questions, I forgot to ask at the beginning if everyone can just type in where you're zooming in from. We'd love to see, just where you're all coming in from, just to see the diversity here in terms of geography. So go ahead and just type in, and maybe you can make some connections that way. So we have people from Arizona, Washington, California,
Duval.
Yeah, Duval, Washington, San Diego, a lot of California, Texas. Awesome. Malaysia, cool. That was Jackson.
Shanghai.
Yeah. Don't know what time it is over there, but thank you for joining us either way. Danville, California, Connecticut. Awesome. Okay, cool. So maybe you can make some connections that way. Oh, in the Philippines.
Awesome. That's really cool. Thanks for having them do that. Yeah, so do you guys, Sean, do you want to talk about what organizations you're involved in on campus? I know Kayla mentioned in her advice to incoming students was get involved with as many clubs and organizations as you can. So what are you involved in?
Yeah, I'll talk about a couple. So I'm a peer advisor for the business school. Nick probably might have talked about this earlier. Wait, sorry, Nick, not Nick. You're not a peer advisor. But I manage about 12 to 14 first-year students. So anyone that comes into the business school, you'll be assigned a peer advisor for your first year. I don't think anyone's talked about this already, but I'm one of the peer advisors that you get assigned. So I help them out all first years, or 12, 14 first years throughout their entire first year of school at Santa Clara with course planning, meeting up with them, all that fun stuff. Just there as a resource for any of the new first year business students. I'm also in the Drama Center. So the Drama Center does tutoring, and I'm an economics tutor, OMIS tutor, and accounting tutor there. So I do a few different things. It's fun. I know it's kind of weird, but I've been tutoring for a long time. I've been tutoring since high school, even before high school, and I want to continue that into Santa Clara, so that's been great. And I'm also part of AKSI, so it's the professional business fraternity on campus. It's a lot of fun. They've been really helpful for professional development, personal growth, and career growth, learning about how to, make your LinkedIn better resume, lots of mock interview tips, public speaking. So they've been super helpful with all that. Those are some of the main things I'm involved in and around campus.
Awesome, thank you. Kayla, do you want to talk about what you're involved in?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I'm a member of the Ultimate Frisbee team. So that's a club sport on campus. Basically, we play about 3 tournaments off campus throughout California every quarter. And then we have practices 3 days a week. So it's not all that time consuming, but it's a great way to meet new people and make new friends. And on top of that, I also do intramurals. So if you don't want something as big of a commitment as club sports, there's also intramurals. So I participated in like the basketball and the softball ones before. So I enjoyed those. So basically you just play a game a week throughout a quarter. And you can make your own team with your dorm hall or your floor or whatever. And then you just play for fun. It's a great way to just, blow off stress throughout the week. On top of that, I've also been an intern at the Chioka Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the business school. So like Anna was mentioning before, there's a lot of on-campus job opportunities. So take advantage of it. And I'm also involved on the Greek organization off campus as well. Yeah, so great opportunities to meet people.
Thank you. Anna, do you want to talk about what you're involved in?
Yes, so I'm involved with, earlier I mentioned, activities programming board. So I do their finances for them and their budget. And then I'm a part of a student organization called Young Life. It is international, so some of you guys might have heard of it. We partner with local middle schools and high schools, and it's Christian based, so you kind of just create a community where these kids can escape life and kind of have some fun that's a little bit chaotic at times, but really enjoyable. It's a great way to get off campus and involved in the community around Santa Clara. And then also in the business school, I'm a TA, and I also TA in the psychology department. It's new and it's fun, so keeps me busy.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have a question about study abroad, and I know some of us here did that. So when did you start the application process to study abroad, and how competitive is the selection process? Someone want to take that? Okay, I'll take it. I started the application process early fall of my sophomore year. I think I started it late September, early October. And that was mostly because I looked ahead and saw that it was due right at the end of finals week of fall quarter. So don't procrastinate and put it off. I mean, you can if you want. I would recommend not procrastinating and putting it off until finals week. We don't have a dead week between week 10 and finals week. You go straight into it. And if you don't have a final during finals week, you're going to have a project or a paper due week 10 or both. So I would really recommend not putting it off. And when you're done with finals week, you want to be done. You don't want to be working on another application. So I started it in early fall. I started working on the essays. There's a couple essay questions that you have to answer. And I would say it's competitive. We had the year that we went abroad last fall, I think we had maybe around 550 applicants, somewhere around that number, and they were only going to take 330, and they cap off every program at 30 students. So be mindful of the type of program you're applying to. Barcelona IES is the most competitive. I applied to that one, and of course they send out the email saying, here are the top 3 applicants that we got. So Barcelona is super popular. London's also super popular. So those are the most competitive cities. But I would say if you're thoughtful about your application and you spend a little bit of time over a long period of time working on it, you're probably going to get in. So that would be it. And I would also recommend reaching out to someone closer to the time that studied abroad. And if you know where you want to go, studied abroad where you went. I had some people reach out to me while I was abroad, and I was more than happy to help them and give them advice on their application. Other students will want to help you because it's a great experience. Also, the most common time to go is your junior year, but if for some reason you don't get in because of the competitiveness or some other reason, you can go your senior year. I know a lot of people that have gone senior year. Anyone else want to add on to study abroad?
Yeah, I actually went my senior year, and the program I went to wasn't as competitive. I went to Japan actually, so there was only two applicants. So of course, it really depends on what program you're applying to. So I know the Europe programs are very popular, but I had an amazing time in Japan. And if you're studying the language of a place you're applying to, it really strengthens your application. Like because one of my majors is Japanese, it definitely helped my application. So I would recommend at least studying the elementary language sequence of whatever location you're planning on studying abroad.
Yeah, and they will ask you on the application what classes you've taken or plan to take that relate to the country you're going to. At least I'm assuming that's the question they're not going to take off the application. Okay, the next question is, how active are the RLCs, which is Residential Learning Community, if you're not sure what that is, and what do you like about them? Nick, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. They're super active. They're doing, especially in your guys' fall, they'll probably be doing something every day for you guys, and it's totally optional. You don't have to go, but I would recommend you go to at least a couple of them to meet people that are either on your floor. There's gonna be floor specific ones too, but people that are in the dorm. And then after that, it's probably at least once a week activities that anyone is welcome to go to. And I would recommend going to as many as you can, or as many as you're comfortable with. And one thing I like about them, I've met some of my closest friends through them, and I'm still friends with some of the leaders of the RLCs that from my freshman year. So there was one person, his name's Mark, who was a senior my freshman year, and we're still close and we still talk. And so it's just a really great opportunity to meet new people.
Yeah, I can second that.
Yeah, Sean, you want to add on to it?
Yeah, just a little bit. For at least I lived in McLaughlin Walsh, and they had like hospitality hours every day. I'd go to the front desk and they'd bake cookies and stuff. They had some like Smash tournaments too, and this or that. They do some interesting things, and they have tons of different events that they like to put on, especially for first year students, for you guys to come and meet each other and like mingle. And because it's a little bit weird to be there the first year and don't really know anyone else there. These are great opportunities to meet who's in your residence hall, because you're going to be with them for the entire year, so might as well start off on the right foot, get to know them, maybe even over some like food and snacks that they put out. So very active, and I like them a lot. I like what Santa Clara has done with them.
Awesome. Yeah, and so we're coming up on the end of the session, but I know that I had a lot of questions in July, June, August leading up. So I'm going to put my email in the group chat and my phone number. So feel free to email or text me, copy and paste it. I'm sure the other ambassadors will do the same. So if we didn't get to your question tonight, reach out to us. If you have other questions, reach out to us. If you want a good meme, I'm sure they would fulfill that need of yours, send it along. And we just want to say congratulations on being accepted and committing to Santa Clara. This was the best decision I made. I almost went to the University of Washington instead, and I am so glad I am now a Bronco, and I got to meet my fellow ambassadors who are now my friends. So that's what I wanted to say. I don't know if anyone else has a closing remark they'd like to say. We were going to end with our one piece of advice, but you guys beat us to it, and we already answered that.
Just to echo what all the students have said here, again, congratulations to all of you guys. We're super excited that you're going to be joining us this fall. And I know that questions are going to come up, things are going to be changing. There's still that question about will classes be in person during the fall. So as soon as we have all of that information out, we will communicate it to you. In the meantime, all of our emails are going up on the chat box right now. I put my email address on there as well. So if you have anything in terms of academic questions, you can reach out to me as well. But we're all here for you guys. And thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if you have anything else to say, Joanne.
You're mute, Joanne.
I know. I needed to unmute. No, there you go. Welcome. Listen, congratulations. It must feel so good to have a decision made. What we are hoping for you is that you do the best you possibly can in finishing off high school well for you. That's such an exciting and special time. So we're feeling some of the same kinds of experiences and feelings that you're having around that. But most importantly, know that we're here and we are very, very excited to have you join us. People will be in touch with other information and hopefully do a few more of these, maybe on with some other ideas. We'll send out a note perhaps to you to get some feedback about how this is gone for you and what else you would like to know as a business student before you arrive with us here in the fall. So, and do use the connections we're providing for you. Start to make those connections before you get here. But again, congratulations to you and your families, and welcome to Santa Clara and the Business School.
We just wanted to say one more time, congratulations, guys.
Very nice.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I think this concludes our session here. So thank you guys again for joining us. We will send out this recording to all of you. Go have some dinner, go take care, play some board games with your family.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.